A warning from Rockford's homeless program coordinator. She says federal changes to food assistance benefits put one of the community's most vulnerable residents at risk. Work requirements for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program put benefits in jeopardy for thousands of Illinoisans.
Nathaniel Langley learns how Rockford's trying to support its homeless who struggle to adapt.
Rockford's Human Services Department tries to keep up with change.
It's hard. There's a lot of things happening all at once, especially from the federal viewpoint.
Work requirements for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits started May 1st.
Our clientele just don't realize what's going on.
Angie Walker coordinates the response from the department's homeless program.
We've had to help people with transportation or bus passes or whatever to get to the food pantry so that they could get the food that they needed.
The latest count from the city of Rockford shows about 212 people on any given day are living on the streets. Now, if you include state numbers for Winnebago, Boone, and DeKalb counties, that number jumps up to about 500 people.
Unfortunately, sometimes it is hard for people who are homeless to get food that they can even eat and make.
To now keep SNAP benefits, any able-bodied adults must work, volunteer, or be in a training program for at least 80 hours per month.
And for somebody who's homeless, that can be a tricky thing to do. Sometimes the folks don't have daily showers.
Walker says without a home address, public aid notifications may never make their way to recipients.
We have seen that people are getting cut off from SNAP services or SNAP benefits, and they don't have any idea why.
The coordinator adds her office will do its best, but she hopes the community will also step up.
The biggest way for the community to help is to donate food to the pantries if they can.
Reporting in Rockford, Nathaniel Langley.
For anyone struggling to put food on the table or find a pantry, the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign offers a community food map on its website.